Good morning. I'm going to briefly go through how to do the cellular respiration in Yeast Lab. And so I'm going to give you some tips and some pointers as you go through here so that you guys are aware of what to do and how to do it. So I have already gathered some of my supplies and pre-set up some things just to make this a little bit quicker. So as we're looking through here, there is a top portion that you guys are going to have to do. We've talked about a lot of these things, so I'm going to skip down to actually 5. So it says the basic procedure to measure cellular respiration is. Okay, so I've already given you all of these things. So there is a beaker with 0% water, which is plain water, 1% sucrose, a 5% sucrose, and a 10% sucrose. Okay, there's also test tubes, which you will need 4 of, balloons, which you will need 4 of, a ruler, the 4 concentrations of the sucrose water are already given, and so you also need a measuring spoon, and so these are in milliliters, and you need at least a graduated cylinder that is at 25 milliliters. So if I look down here, it says add 25 milliliters of the appropriate sucrose solution to each tube. So I've done this for the first 3, and so I will then need to do that for the 4th. So when you're doing this, make sure that you have a good grip on your flask and that you get down to eye level with your cylinder. Okay, and so I'm gonna have to pour a little bit out because I got a little over. Okay, and now that I'm at eye level, I'm able to see that I'm right at 25, so perfect. So now I'm going to pour this in my 10% test tube, which I already have labeled with a pencil. Okay, so as you can see, I've got all 4 of these filled. All right, my next step, it says to add a 1/4 of a teaspoon of yeast to each tube. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick that actually helps, because as you do this, when you add these yeast to your solutions, it's going to automatically start to work, and you're still going to have to put the balloon on. So I've already pre-filled 3 of the balloons, and the 4th one I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is take the neck of the balloon, and I'm going to stretch it. That way it gives me a little bit more elasticity to work with. And I'm going to move my paper. I'm going to grab, it says a 1/4 teaspoon. A 1/4 teaspoon to milliliters equals out to 1.23. So I'm going to just use a milliliter, and it's okay, a little bit okay if it's over, because remember it says 1.23. So we want to be as close as possible. This gets a little tricky, and it helps if you have 2 people doing this versus 1. And so hopefully I don't make a mess, because then I'm going to have to redo this video. Nope, but I broke the balloon. Okay. So I continue to move this through until I get into the base of the balloon, and then I'm going to actually take my spoon and I'm going to dump it out and make sure I got all the yeast out of the milliliter. Okay, and so my yeast solution is now in the bottom of this balloon. I'm going to pull out my spoon, and my next thing is I'm going to take this balloon, okay, this says put a balloon on each test tube. And I'm going to not mix my yeast solution. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over the top. So my yeast solution is still over here, and my water is still here. So I haven't mixed anything. That way my results are fairly accurate. Okay. Stretch those, put them over. Now this is where it gets to be fun, because there's 2 of you. What you're going to want to do is each do 2, and so you're going to quickly do this. You're going to basically stand this up and dump your yeast down into the solution, and you're going to start timing as soon as your last yeast solution is started. And so as you do this, the other next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to shake it. Okay, and so basically you're wanting for the yeast and your solution, your sucrose solution, to mix. Okay, so make sure that you've done that. okay? And so you may want to go back through. So right now your balloons look fairly deflated, and that's perfectly normal, okay? And you're going to then check these periodically at 10 and 20 minutes. If you have questions, please ask Mrs. Miller. Make sure that you're observing these and writing down your observations as it goes. Thank you. Have a great day.